Hi everyone, it's Kristen Redman, and today we're going to go over the planetary aspects that are surrounding us and affecting us this week, January 30th through February 5th. And this week we have two events that are going to be happening on an astrological scale this week. And ironically, they both have a lot to do with the underlying current of energy that is 2017, which I see as the year of Libra, which is ruled by Venus, and it is the year of balancing the scales. It is the year of following the heart instead of the mind and bringing balance into our life as a result. All right, and this week we've got Venus transiting into a new sign of Aries, and we also have Jupiter going retrograde in Libra as well. And Jupiter transited back there in September, trying to bring luck and balance and expansion to a lot of different areas in our life. So let's kind of get right to it and tie it all together in one big package for this week of January 30th through February 5th. So let's start first. On Friday the 3rd, we've got Venus, the planet of love and money, right? And it's going to be transiting into the sign of Aries. And this time of year is really awesome because, for us astrology folks, the new year doesn't really start until the spring equinox when the sun transits into the sign of Aries. Aries is the very first sign in the Zodiac wheel. All right, and so when the sun transits then, it heralds to us the real beginning of 2017. It's spring, it's renewal, it's new beginnings, okay? And what's so cool about this time of year as we get towards the end of January and into February, all of our faster moving planets start going into Aries before that sun gets there, before that equinox hits March 20th. And so for me, it's like I start getting all that excitement. Like to me, I feel like all the crocuses are popping up out of the ground and the sun's starting to come up and get warmer every day. That's what it feels like on an astrological level to me. And so we have this week Venus, which is kind of like a major planet this year, transiting into the sign of Aries. So it's almost like a new year. It's like Venus, this planet of love and money and balance and harmony, steps outside and it takes that first breath of fresh spring air into its Venus-y lungs, and it's ready to bring some renewal in those areas of our life that it takes care of, okay? And this year, like I said, really is the year of Venus, okay? This is the year when Venus goes retrograde, and that only happens every couple of years. But this year, when it does retrograde, it's the beginning of March and it goes to mid-April, it's going to be in the sign of Aries. So we've got a lot of energy focusing on around what happens while Venus is in an Aries. And let me tell you what that is, okay? Venus is that planet that's feminine ruled. It's a yin planet. It's feminine. And it's landed its feminine self into a very masculine sign of Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars. So you got the male, go, and you got the feminine, let's stop and think about it, of Venus, right? So Venus moves into that sign, and it's kind of uncomfortable at first because it's very fiery and it's very dominant. And Venus isn't. Venus is very subdued, you know. So when she transits into that sign at the beginning of this wonderful year, she starts to get a little bit more assertive in her wants and her needs. And she's able to get out there and say, you know what, I do want this. This is what I'd like. And she has the confidence in herself to get that done. So it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, everybody as Venus transits through that has an attitude of, hey, you know what? I can do this. I got more confidence. I can initiate this. And because of that, they always say that when Venus transits into the sign of Aries, it's a time when new relationships happen. They happen in this time frame. New jobs come through as well, because it's not only about love, it's about money. And when this happens, we have that confidence to go out there and be like, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get this job. I'm going to do a great job in this interview. And you know what? You are. I tell you what, you will. So we have all of this. We're ready to free ourselves from the past and all that stagnated old winter energy that's left behind of 2016. We're ready to free ourselves of that, right? Because Aries is about initiating new things. It's about freeing ourselves. It's about independence from that past. We're ready to kind of free ourselves of those chains and with that confidence, kind of initiate some new beginnings. All right, especially love and money, because that's who we're talking about right now is Venus. Now the problem is there's a shadow side, right? There's always a shadow side, right? You got to have light and dark in life, and by golly, we're going to talk about the dark here that comes with Venus going through Aries. And it's impulsiveness, all right? That's the bad side of Aries. It can be very impulsive. It likes to start things. Oh, yeah, man. Aries is a leader. I do not doubt that one bit. Likes to lead the charge, but it doesn't really think sometimes before it acts. It's kind of impulsive. And it's led by Mars, that planet of war. So the warrior says, oh, I need to make change. I'm going to blaze this trail. I'm going to do this. I want this now, is the attitude. With love or money, you fill in the blank here. I want this now. I'm going to do this now. And so it blazes this trail, but it doesn't really think about the people in the checkbook that gets burned in the process. Okay, so we have to be really cautious of that as Venus is in Aries, not to really overstep ourselves, to kind of think about these things a little bit more, because we're going to be a little bit more impulsive because we're so confident. We're so confident in ourselves, but can burn a few things in the process, okay? And another reason why this is the year of Venus, like I said, because it's going to be retrograding and it hasn't in so long. When it does go retrograde at the beginning of March here, it's going to be a time to really look back on our past actions where we were too impulsive, where we didn't necessarily think of others before we thought of ourselves and our needs and our wants, and we didn't think about our finances before we went out and bought that big screen TV or whatever other selfish expenditure we may have had. We didn't think about it. Well, now it's going to catch up with us. In retrograde. And it's going to be a time to really think through those things and how we want to fix it for the future. So right now, we have that energy. We're taking that breath of fresh air for the springtime, saying, this is the renewal I want. What is it that I do want, right? How do I want to bring these changes? And then that retrograde is going to give us a chance to really focus on how to make a structure and plan for the coming year on how to fix those things, how to get that done, how to not just initiate it, right? It's not just about starting the process, it's about finishing the process. And that retrograde is going to help us do that, especially as we get rocking and rolling there in April when it gets moving again. So we got that happening. And then we also got Jupiter going retrograde as well this week. That happens on Sunday the 5th, and that's going to happen from the 5th of February until June 9th. All right. And this year is such a year of Jupiter. By golly, I love Jupiter because it transited into Libra September of last year. It hasn't been there in 14 years. And Libra's the scales, right? And you got Jupiter, the planet of luck and expansion and opportunity. So right now what's happening in that year transit as Jupiter goes through this wonderful sign, you're going to see opportunities and growth and change like you haven't seen in 14 years. I guess it depends on where it's at in your birth chart, where that's going to be hitting you the most. But I'm pretty sure you know in those areas where you need that expansion. This year that happens, okay? Now as Jupiter retrogrades, Jupiter looks to the past, okay? And it kind of looks to those areas where you've been limited, all right? Where we need to expand ourselves. Because that's the main thing this giant planet wants to do, is it sees these boundaries that we set on ourselves, right? And it's like, no, go past that. You don't need to be stuck there. Go past that. And so it pushes us to learn more, okay? That's why it rules the ninth house of the higher mind. It's about education, whether it's in a brick and mortar college or school or a seminar or you name it. It's about extending your knowledge on a certain subject. It's about pushing your mind beyond those boundaries where you limit yourself. It's about learning new things. It's about philosophy. It's about our spirituality and in general, okay, our faith. And as this planet retrogrades, we really bring those things into question. Where is my morality coming into play? Where am I walking? Where I'm talking? You know, those things come into question as Jupiter transits that area. It's a time of personal growth, really, it is, because it's a time where we introspect, where we become aware of our inner spiritual self and where it needs to grow, where it needs to expand, right? Where our faith needs to expand, where we need to increase in the way of Jupiter, increase our faith so that God can bring us these opportunities and blessings that Jupiter's been trying to bring as it's balancing these scales as it goes through Libra for the rest of this year. And then in October, when it moves out of Libra finally, it's going to bring the transformation as it hits Scorpio. But the thing is, okay, you got Jupiter doing that. It's going retrograde. And then off and on throughout this year, it's going to be in opposition with this planet Uranus, which brings us unexpected things. So we can expect unexpected good fortune, or we could expect chaos too. I'm just telling you, it's either one side or the other in astrology. Um, in lots of areas of our life. Unexpected good things that finally come through. It doesn't matter what your financial situation is. It doesn't matter what your marital status is. It doesn't matter what the problems are. It doesn't matter how bad they are. It's a matter of how much faith you have that they are going to change in 2017 months to change it for you. Bottom line, it's going to do it. So unexpected good fortune can happen thanks to Uranus bringing these things through. And there's no way to plan for it. All you got to do is put that faith out there that it can happen. And it will. It can, and in ways you don't expect. And it can be in work. It can be traveling opportunities for you. It can be network opportunities. Like I said, education opportunities that come through for you to better yourself and further your mind and get yourself out there. And relationships, because this is the year of relationships, balancing those scales and bring new people in. It's the year when twin flames are reigniting, reuniting, and everybody's able to live a little bit more in their purpose in various ways. But you know what the main thing is with Jupiter in retrograde is it gets us to introspect and look about our dreams, right? Expanding ourselves no matter what. We have to do that by dreaming first. Dreaming big is the main thing to do. So as you find this through the beginning of June, dream as big as you can. Dream as big as you can, because you know what? The universe is listening, and so is Uranus, and it's ready to bring you those blessings in the most unexpected ways. So that's what we got going on this week. I would say it's a pretty awesome energy to really start it out. I mean, it really is this wonderful thing, kind of initiating things for the springtime coming up. So let's see what we got. What angels we got working with us, energies we got working with us in this week of new beginnings. So let's see. I see a triangle in my mind. 3, 3, 3. Huh. Oh. Well, that's weird because look what I pulled. Isn't that something? Well, I just pulled a triangulated rose quartz. And the rose quartz is for the heart center. It's like the main primary purpose of this stone, man. I tell you what. And, oh, I'm so excited they brought this one through. Okay, so that's like the main thing, is it brings an essence of unconditional love. It balances that heart center, and it helps us to feel healed and whole again. Archangel Ariel comes through in this stone. Man, I'm so excited to say this. It's like I want to jump up and down. It's so cool that they brought this. Archangel Ariel comes through in this stone right now. And she is the angel for Aries. She is the angel of the springtime, the renewal. She's the angel of nature, getting out in nature, renewing ourselves and taking that fresh breath and letting things get changed, right? That's what she does. She helps you manifest anything in this world you want. And you know how we receive things that we want in this life is that we have to balance our heart center. We have to give of ourselves enough so that we can receive freely. If you find blocks where you're not receiving as much, the universe is asking, how much are you giving? How much are you restraining of yourself? How much are you holding back of your heart center, not giving of your love? How much are you not sharing of yourself, of your finances, whatever it is, okay? Archangel Ariel is the one that's going to help you manifest things into life and to bring that balance in there. We know Jupiter's bringing that balance anyway as it goes through Libra and balances the scales this year. In the heart, Venus rules Libra. So cool. What's awesome with this triangulated passion. This is so interesting that I saw that in my eye, and that's what I pulled. You know, you think of three, and you think of the triangle, you think of the Trinity, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and I see it in another way as well, too. I see it as taking ourselves, right, and connecting it with God, and coming up with the energy of acting and doing is what it is our purpose is supposed to be in this lifetime. You take you take God, and you get something. You take the two and you merge it and you create something new. So, creation of energy of some form. What a wonderful card. Well, let's see here. Archangel Ariel, what is it exactly you want to tell us here? What do you want us to do this week? I feel they want me to shuffle this guy 3 more times. Okay, right? 4 more times. Sorry. 7 total. Because that is the house that Libra rules, where Jupiter's at, that Venus rules. Isn't that something? Okay. So we got the King of Water card here. Okay. And that's going to represent male energy coming through of the energy of relationships, the energy of emotion, being able to assert that emotion elsewhere. It's about opening your heart and your mind to those that are around you and following their guidance, okay? Especially if it's in matters of relationships, especially in matters of love, okay? Trust those people that are around you. Isn't that something? I almost don't want to do this card. I don't feel like that's it. I feel like there obviously is some, it's like they're telling me there's a block. Like, no, that's not quite it. Like, at first they wanted me to shuffle it 3 times. I'm going to put this guy in 3 piles. I'm going to shuffle it 3 times, and that's the card. Because that card wasn't it. I'm telling you, it's not it. 1, 2. What's that? You feel it? Yeah, much better. Oh, yeah. Isn't that something? This card is the Hermit card, and it's all about introspection. How interesting is this that it is the number 9 card? 9 is the 9th house that Jupiter rules in Sagittarius, and it's all about going back in the mind and doing a little bit of introspection, right? Self-discovery. Not right now. He'll be in just a moment.
I thought I heard him.
Nope.
I heard him.
Nope. Okay. Spending time alone in meditation, self-discovery, teaching, learning. That's what this is about, okay? Isn't that interesting that we have 3 amplified times 3 to get 9? Isn't that something? 3, 3, 3. Get to work, light worker. This is what that means. If you see that on the clock all the time, that's the universe telling you it's time to start going on your path. Utilizing the spiritual gifts that God's giving you and not hiding them under a bush, right? Isn't that what the Bible says? Don't hide your gifts under a bush. Don't put it under a bushel. Don't hide that light under a bushel. Bring it out in the open so it can guide others and lead others. So that's what we're doing here. As Jupiter is going to be in retrograde, we can do that. Looking to ourselves and looking to the past. I'm going to pull a little bit extra guidance with that one here too, as to what it is they want us to focus in that time of introspection as Jupiter and Venus do their things in their retrograde. 4, 5. I'm going to do this one 9 times, and I know that seems excessive, but because that seems to be a pretty pivotal number here, that's what we're going to do. Telling you to be patient is what it's doing. Isn't that something? You know what I was saying in there, that impatience that it was talking about with Venus. Saying, I want this now. I want to get this now. It's that impatience that comes through, that impulsiveness that pushes us, that makes us kind of not think before we act and things along those lines. This card is yet another reminder of it too, saying, okay, let's know that we can reach for those goals. We can reach for those dreams. Let's focus on the meditation and the introspection first before we actually gung-ho go for them, and be patient in that process too, okay? There's a reason why things get held back from us, right? We want it now, but sometimes there's a reason why the universe and God holds it back from us, because there's such a massive blessing that's waiting to grow. That seed's got to grow right before it pops up out of the ground, right? If you try to get it to push up out of there faster, it'll be all jacked up and weird looking, and we don't want that, right? We want that seed to come up so that it can grow in the way it's intended to, and we got to be patient is the number one thing, right? While we wait for that, as we climb our dreams here. So everybody, this week in introspection, know that Archangel Ariel is helping you to manifest what it is you want, and to heal that heart center so that it can balance those scales in the heart center of giving and receiving, so you can get what it is you want. All right? Everybody have a wonderful week. Thank you. Bye.